Hi everyone, it's Lynn and I'm going to show you some egg carton flowers. So the first thing I did was cut that carton into pieces, and I started by going straight down the portion of the carton that the eggs sit in, and I did that on both sides, leaving just that pointy piece that sticks up in the middle. And I went and cut each of those pieces out individually, and then I trimmed around the bottom of them, and then cut a slit into that creased area around each of them. And then I just cut them into more defined points, and it should look just like this. Once I had a whole bunch of them cut out, I took some Waverly chalk paint in the color plaster, and I painted each one of them. I stuck them on the end of a paintbrush. They already had a little hole in the bottom of it, and that just made it a lot easier. And I gave them just one coat. It wasn't really full coverage. I really liked that gray from the egg carton showing through. It gives it more of a kind of rustic look. And then I put those aside to dry, and I took another egg carton and I cut just one of the little cups out that the egg sits in to use as the center of my flower. But I'm not going to use this one because it wasn't the same texture as the petals. I ended up using a different one, but I wanted to show you how it was done because the different one I'm going to use, I had already cut out and forgot to record. I hope that makes sense. It was a mouthful. In any case, once I had that one cut up, I painted it with some gold acrylic paint. Now, if you run into the same issue where you don't have a piece that matches your project, you can use other things. You can use like half of a small styrofoam ball. You can use a large button or even a pom-pom. After I painted that and set that aside to dry, I took some more of the pieces that I cut into petals, and I cut each little piece off individually, and I painted them green to use as leaves. Next, I took some coated wire and I just wrapped them with some twine. I added a little bit of glue on the top. I just started wrapping it around the wire and adding glue here and there as I went so it wouldn't unravel, and I did that to 2 pieces. Next thing I did was start gluing my pieces together to create the flower. And I just added hot glue to one of the flat sides of the petal and glued it to the next one. And just kept doing that until I had them all glued together in a circle. And I used 8 pieces for one of my flowers, and I did make another one that I used 9 pieces for. So you could make these different sizes if you like. Once I had my flower formed, I did go in with that same chalk paint and I painted the inside of the entire flower. I was going to leave it the gray, but I didn't like the way it looked, so I did it afterwards, but you can do this before when you paint the petal originally. And then I did go in and touch up all of the edges of the flower. Then after trimming up that yellow piece, I laid it on my workstation and I placed the flower on top of it. I flipped it over and I kind of pushed it into place, and then I added hot glue all around the edge to keep it there. And they turn out so pretty. I love these little flowers. They're so cute, and you can leave it just like this. Add a magnet to the back of it, but as you saw before, I made a stem and leaves, and I just glued those into place. And then I had a frame that I covered the backing of with burlap. So I just glued my flowers onto that frame, and I added a little Spanish moss to the bottom of it, and I think it turned out beautiful. So start saving your egg cartons because you can make some really beautiful daisies with them. I really love this project, and I hope you like it too, and I hope you give this one a try. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.